A pleasant good morning to everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Carlos Brown Show, right here on the Black College Sports Network. Yours truly, Carlos Brown. Here's the guest menu. The guest menu for today, February the 15th. Coach Damarcus Miller will join us in hour number 2, defensive line coach at Southern University. In hour number 1, Larry Chatterbox Hale. And who knows what we'll talk about? No, we'll preview the Texas Southern and Southern University basketball game Monday night on ESPNU. And then in hour number 2, Darren Tilden Scott. He's a defensive lineman who has signed a academic and sports scholarship, athletic scholarship for Southern University. That's the guest menu for today. Here's what's trending. Southern University and Texas Southern basketball teams fall from the undefeated list. Now, I don't know about Texas Southern, but for Southern University, for me, it was 1-point loss to Alabama State. But in the long run, this is going to be a good thing, and I'll explain why shortly. Also, SWAC baseball update. A lot of teams kicked off their season, and also our SWAC baseball predicted order of finish. That's what's trending on today's show. Now let's introduce the panel. One by one, they come in. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
And for Willa Brown, I guess good afternoon, a little bit after noon Eastern Standard Time.
Early afternoon. Yes, sir.
How's the weather, Willa? Is it snowing?
It's snowing. As a matter of fact, Carlos, it's snowing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's snowing right now. Not heavily, but, just enough to kind of make you go, and hope that it don't get no worse.
Well, after that snow here 3 weeks ago, in Baton Rouge 4 weeks ago, I shudder. I'm looking, I'm hiding. It's nice, but in a way, oh my, we're not used to it. So, interesting. In Baton Rouge today, folks, yesterday morning, it was 45 degrees. Today's expected high, 82 degrees. And then by the middle of the week, next week, it'll be in the mid-20s. Unbelievable. Coach Pettaway, Charles, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning from Daytona.
Okay. Yeah. And I'm bringing you greetings from Huntsville again. And it's windy and a little chilly here.
Yeah. Well, we always kind of start off with our weather report, and because we're in different places, it is always interesting how the weather is going. Southern and Texas Southern basketball teams fall from the undefeated list. And Charles, during the text messages, you said you saw some cracks starting to happen. Explain that for me, sir. I'm interested in that take.
Well, let's start with Southern's men. I mean, if you look at the last 4 games, the Alcorn game, they were pushed to the brink. The Jackson game went into overtime. And then Alabama State finally broke through it. So I think if you look at Southern, I think defensively, though, is where it starts. I mean, if you look at Southern defensively, that's why where they were. I mean, they were just locking you down defensively. But the last few games you saw, Alcorn with 69 points, Jackson with 90 points. And so that's not Southern basketball. Southern likes to lock you down and keep the game in the 60s because their defense is so good. So you started to see a little bit of slippage defensively, and it finally caught up with them against Alabama State, a team who can shoot lights out from beyond the arc. I mean, they're one of the better 3-point shooting teams in this conference. They missed 3-pointer. They beat us at our place against Alabama A&M. They hit a big 3 in Huntsville. So you kind of saw that Southern defensively was starting to slip a little bit. And I think Texas Southern was getting everybody's best shot. And I just think it was just a situation for Texas Southern. They just weren't exactly on their game. You got to give Southern credit after the loss to Alcorn. Then Southern turns around and beats the best team in the league. So you kind of see this time of year, second half of the season, the grind of the season. There's a little bit of slippage. But, for Southern as well as Texas Southern, you want to see this slippage right now to regroup, refocus, and get ready for the stretch run.
Yeah. Coach Pettaway, do you see it the same way?
Yeah. I agree. I agree with Charles. Having a loss this time of the year doesn't really hurt you. That gives the team an opportunity to reset, refocus, that kind of thing. And when you look at Alabama State, I told you all early on in the year when I saw Knox firsthand, I told you he was a kid that could just get downhill, and he scored 26 against Southern. And then C.J. Hines had 19, and Matlock, I think he had 18. So their three top people, they went to work against Southern. And had Southern just hit a few more free throws, they still could have got out of there with a win. So and when you look at a game, Carlos, both of these teams, you're only talking about 8 turnovers each. So they didn't turn the ball over. So that wasn't the issue. The issue was the shooting. Southern didn't have the Jaguars didn't have one of their better shooting nights. And then Alabama State, they had one of their better shooting nights. And that's what it was. That's the game. And when you look at the free throw shooting, Southern could have still come out on top in that game. But I'm quite sure that Coach Johnson is going to use this as motivation to get his team to reset.
Yeah.
Well, and you know, and I understand what you're saying. Yeah, and I see already in the chat room, missed free throws. Southern didn't play at the top of their game. They only lost by 1 point.
Yeah,
and they're still tough as nails. And right now, you still have to say Texas Southern women and Southern men are the best in the conference. As you see, Southern this past Thursday, you got to get used to those Thursday night games. 63-53 over TSU. So I won't say it's a good loss. Some people say a loss sometimes helps you out, you know, this time of the year. But I just look at who has been, Willer, the most consistent basketball team, both on the women's and men's side. And I think it shows you those two teams there. Because you look at Texas Southern on the men's side, they have been slipping. Now,
you know, my thought has always been like the last 5 or 6 games of the regular season are going to be the key. You know, if you get 5 out of those last 6 or 4 out of those last 5, you know, then you're going into the tournament on a high note, and you know you're pretty much ready. You know, you're hunting for bear. You're ready. You know, but the exact opposite is true. You know, if you go 1-4 in your last 5, you know, or 2-4 in your last 5, then it doesn't sit well for you psychologically going into the tournament. So, you know, you drop a couple here or there right now. You know, you're getting ready to roll, you know, through those last 5 or 6. You know, you want to come out on the high side of those, and if you can do that, then you're pretty much ready to go into tournament play and let the chips fall where they may from there.
Well, I'll say this. If I'm Texas Southern and I'm Southern, I like where I'm at right now. Right now. Go ahead. Somebody was about to say something.
Yeah,
Go ahead, Charles.
I'm sorry, Coach Pettaway. Excuse me. I think we've seen the best and worst of both in the last 2 years going into the tournament. Last year, the Braves were one of the hottest teams in the country going into the SWAC tournament. They won 9 in a row. The Land and Bussy warned us we're not playing well, even though we won 9 in a row. And what happened? We lost to Alabama A&M. Then you look the year before, Texas Southern just got into the SWAC tournament, kind of stumbled, got a couple of wins late, you know, but they weren't playing that well. They got in and they won the tournament. So does it matter how well you're playing? Can you wipe out the regular season and just say it's all about Atlanta? And so, I mean, you want to play well in the moment. You want to correct whatever problems. And yeah, there is no such thing as a bad loss because nobody wants to lose. But the pressure of going undefeated, going into the tournament is so immense that, you know, you hate to lose a game. But if there's one to lose right now, you got a few weeks before the tournament, make your corrections. And look, Southern's got a tough road to go. I mean, Southern still has a tough road to go, and the number 2 seed on the men's side is very much up for grabs. Alcorn could get that 2 seed. I don't think we're going to catch Southern because they beat us head up, and I think we dropped one too many games. But there's going to be a lot of moving pieces from 2 down to maybe 6 on the men's side, and then for Texas Southern, they just got to get back on track.
Right. And I think one of the things that the Jaguar Nation could be happy with, man, y'all, you even though in that loss you had 4 to 6 points coming off your bench. So that shows you that you're getting production for more than one person. And see, a lot of times when you just got one guy that's scoring the ball, if that guy has an off night, most of the time that means that's bad results for you. But with you all having a strong bench, getting 46 points off your bench, that's a good sign, man. So I just think they just need to reset for the regular season. There's 7 games left for the Jaguars, and then most of those are at home. I mean, they're closing out at home with the Alabama schools. The toughest road trip is going to be going to Florida. So they got a good shot at finishing strong in terms of the way the schedule is falling. So it's going to be interesting down the stretch with those next 7 games for the Jaguars.
And let me say this, because I think a lot of the talk is, last couple of years, Southern faltered down the stretch. That's valid. But this year is a different year. And Coach Pettaway, you talk about the bench points, and I saw in the chat room, I think Willie said a bunch of role players. I disagree with that. Southern has 2 starters out the whole year, Demasi and the young guy, I can never remember his name, but he's a 6'8" sophomore from Australia, a Sudanese background. A team full of role players. I don't understand that one. I really don't, because it's talent. They're tough, and they're bench points. They're one of the leading teams in the nation with production coming off the bench. I'm gonna make a bold statement. I don't think they falter like the last few years down the stretch. That's my bold statement, Willer, for Southern University men's basketball team.
I think they're gonna be okay. Yeah,
Yep.
I really do. I really do. I think they're going to be okay. Like I said, they can get 4 out of these last 5 going into the tournament, kind of right the ship, quote unquote, a little bit. They're going to be fine. I think, you take their chances just as much as you take, whoever the second place team is right now or the third place team. But they're going to be fine. If I'm Coach Johnson, I'm just trying to fine tune things.
Right.
I'm nitpicking. I'm nitpicking right now. Trying to find out, what happened, this, that, and the other. And I'm pushing the kids hard. Pedal to the metal. We all the way through. And I think they'll be fine.
63-53 on the women's side. Southern University this past Thursday night takes down Texas Southern, so they're from the list of undefeated. And of course, Southern University losing to Alabama State 82-81. Coach Pettaway, you saw them in person in Huntsville, right?
No, not so.
Okay.
Remember that was the funeral day. That was Jackson's funeral.
Okay.
So I did not get to see him in person, but I did go back and try to watch the game. But I just think you all have a deep team. And I think going down the stretch, that's what you got to have, because if you don't have a deep team, then fatigue is going to set in with those players. And I think Coach Johnson, after last season, he knew what he had to do in order to get this team back to where he needed to be, and he's done that. He's got more players. He's playing more players this year, and I think that's the formula for success down the stretch. And Carlos, I want to commend Jag Nation too, because now the Southern fans are getting back to the Southern that I'm accustomed to. I'm going to throw out something here. 300, 457, 983, 678, 577. Now, those are numbers. Those were Thursday night's games for the women. Now, I just call out all those figures, right? Southern had 3,678 people in attendance. Nobody else reached 1,000 in terms of attendance. And then when you look back at the men's game, you all have gone up 5,000, 6,000 people coming to the F.T. Clark Center. So my hat's off to the Southern Nation, Jaguar Nation. They're coming out and they're supporting people. But with these figures coming from Thursday night, a lot of these places are not drawing enough people on Thursday. I think there's going to be a big discussion at the end of the season about the format. I think they might tweak it. They might have to make Thursday a doubleheader. But something's got to give.
Carlos, I'd rather have a team full of role players.
Oh, yeah.
Than a team full of superstars. At least I know what they're capable of doing. I know what they can and can't do. I can mix and match a little better from a coaching point of view. I can play that chess game a little better if I know there's no question marks that I'm putting player A in for a certain thing. Not worried about whether or not player A can do what it is I want him to do when I put him in the game. So I'm good. I'm good with a bunch of role players.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and as long as they understand their role, and I think that's why Southern has been so successful. See, you can have a team. You just have to be a star in your role on that team. Everybody can be a star, but you have to be a star in your role. And that's what I think Coach Johnson has done this year. He's got them to buy into that. And I think that's why they're successful. Yeah, they got a bunch of role players, but they understand it, they know, and they're playing for each other.
It's called 3 words.
Defense. Go ahead.
It's 3 words. Do your job.
There you go.
If you hear that with coaches all the time, just do your job. Whether you're a role player, a starter, a backup center, just do your job. I hear Bussy say it every day. And I think Coach Pettaway used to say it a lot. Just do your job. And I think that's kind of where Southern's deep. They're one of the deepest teams in the league. I'll put the Braves up there as well in terms of depth. But I think, Coach Johnson against Alcorn was 5 in, 5 out several times. And that was a tough matchup for us from time to time in the game.
And if we continue on the basketball trail, I think Monday night will be a good game. I think Southern University basketball on the men's side, they're going to get everybody's best shot. And, they've got to be prepared. Quietly kept Southern University women. They lost at home to Alcorn State. Now they've put together a nicer, and I'll be honest, Coach, I thought it was going to be really tough coming into Huntsville. Against Alabama A&M, and they got it done. Wow, boy, I'm sorry. Looking at the chat room, Mr. Bolden is tough. My goodness, they're 15-9 overall. Are they perfect? No, they're deep team. They've been the most consistent. They've got 2 quality non-conference wins. And, I guess Mr. Bolden says, hey, that's not good enough for me.
Still not convinced. Still not convinced.
I don't know. I mean, everybody's entitled to their opinions. And, I love it in the chat room. Everybody mixes it up. But for Southern University, they just got to continue to get better, win. And right now they've been the most consistent, and that's what the record shows. And several teams got some tough games on the road coming up. Southern has to go back to FAMU, Bethune-Cookman. Coach Pettaway, Grambling State is still smarting. At Grambling, and by the way, they've kind of been very consistently inconsistent. Coming into the season, the prognosticators had them up at near the top. So, just being consistent, improving each and every time you go out. Practice, game day. And, I just made my bold statement. I don't think they're going to falter like in previous years down the stretch.
Yeah, if I could be 10-1 with a bunch of role players, I'll take it every day of the week and twice on Sunday.
Right.
I'll tell you that right now.
How about 3 times on Sunday? Go ahead, Charles.
Oh no, I was going to comment on what Coach Pettaway said about the format. I don't know if you were on last week. We talked. You weren't on last week. We kind of talked about it a little bit.
Yeah,
it will be reviewed. This is a 1-year thing, and come June in the spring meetings, it will be discussed, and whether or not it will be approved for another year. There's been all kinds of discussion about this Thursday, Saturday format, and from what I'm hearing, it's not getting rave reviews.
Getting rave reviews, huh, Charles?
No, it's not. It's not.
Yeah.
I think from an administrative standpoint, having your resources for 3 games in 5 days, 4 days, whatever it is, Thursday, Saturday, Monday, it stretches resources from a travel perspective. It stretches things. So it's going to be up for discussion. But from what I'm hearing, talking with people around the league, it's not getting the greatest reviews right now. We'll see what happens. Maybe there'll be some negotiating and politicking behind the scenes to extend it another year. But as of right now, it's not getting the greatest reviews. And the attendance, as you talked about, Coach Pettaway, the attendance is kind of reflective of it, and you kind of see it on Thursday nights, unfortunately.
Right. And then to be honest, these are some of the better numbers on Thursday. Depending on who's hosting, those numbers are down. You've been seeing 100, 200, PV. Charles, I hate to say it, at one of the Alcorn games, it was only 200 people present. So, it depends on who's hosted. But the numbers I gave out were on the high side this time. Yep.
And sometimes you got to take one for the team. And what I mean by taking one for the team is that, we know the numbers are bad, this, that, and the other, that sort of thing. But, you want to provide the ladies an opportunity to shine all alone if you can. Mm-hmm. And so that may wind up prevailing in the end. Guys may just say, we know we're losing money and it's a losing proposition, that sort of thing. But let's give the ladies their day in the sun, let the light shine on them. We got to eat this one. We'll just eat it and try to keep it moving from there. See if we can cut somewhere else, Carlos.
I knew you would say that. The administrative assistant as you are. Let's take a timeout. When we come back, we'll talk a little bit about the SWAC baseball predicted order of finish. Charles, no divisions this year, sorry. Mm-hmm. So we'll kind of give you that predicted order of finish. It's very interesting. You can kind of see if it was just divisional play again, the East reigns supreme. Mm-hmm. Also, AD Drew is at the NBA HBCU Classic. We'll spend a few minutes with him. Then we have Chatterbox joining us as well in this hour. You're watching the Carlos Brown Show right here on the Black College Sports Network. We shall return.
Let's face it, shopping for insurance can be time-consuming. That's why when it comes to your auto, home, and life insurance needs, make things simple and trust the experts at Allstate. They will help you get the coverage that fits your needs while helping you bundle your life, home, and auto policies. Bundling saves you money, sure, but it also saves you time, so you can enjoy the things that matter most even more. Contact me, Tammy Haynes, your local agent, for a free personalized insurance quote. Allstate, are you in good hands?
There's a shot to right. It could be. Right field, grand slam. What a shot. That's how you get hot, young fella.
Thank you, guys, for what you do for HBCU athletics. This is a fantastic avenue for all of us. This is our ESPN, so we love what you guys do, and all you guys at BCSN. We really appreciate what it is that you guys do for us.
Are you hungry for authentic Caribbean food? Like jerk chicken, oxtail, red snapper, shrimp, tofu, and rasta pasta? Well, find your way over to Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, 180 Auburn Avenue, right next to Royal Peacock in downtown Atlanta.
Them belly full, but we hungry.
Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, open daily from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. And on Friday and Saturday, we're open till 4 a.m. Come to Mango's and put some spice in your life.
Oh, we've got a good thing going.
Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, 180 Auburn Avenue, right next to Royal Peacock in downtown Atlanta. For more info or directions, call 404-698-3992 or log on to mangoscaribbeanrestaurant.com. For instant coupons, text MANGOS to 313131.
Tell your mama hungry, papa hungry, brother hungry.
Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, authentic Caribbean cuisines.
The Cuvée Group is a Florida-based marketing and training consulting firm. We help businesses communicate to their target audience and engage them in conversation. We also help to expand their audiences, which will ultimately result in growth for those organizations. In addition to being a certified constant contact specialist, my colleagues and I are also certified in John Maxwell Leadership Principles. We use these proven principles to conduct workshops, training, and private coaching sessions for individuals and companies looking to take things to the next level. Contact us to schedule a free consultation. Issues today, don't delay, call Cuvée.
Welcome back to this week's edition of the Carlos Brown Show right here on the Black College Sports Network. If you were tuning in a little earlier, I guess one of the big topics, and sometimes when we're in the chat room, sometimes it can set the narrative for the show. One of the narratives was role players. How important are they? And Mr. Bowden said Southern's a basketball team full of role players. Well, those deep stars that I saw, like I always give this point, FAMU, when they came to the F.G. Clark Activity Center, I was there in attendance, and Southern started off a little sluggish there, Coach Pettaway. 2 minutes in the game, he sent in a fresh new 5, and they went on like a 20-2 run. And right then I saw, man, this team is deep. And that second unit brings energy. And then a lot of times he will, like with the Alcorn game, he will mix, Coach Johnson, that first and second unit, mix some of those players together, and they came out. And again, you're going to get everybody's best shot. So when you look at this this basketball team, they're deep, they're tough, and they've been consistent. So I even noticed Coach Graves weighed in. Role players are important.
Right.
You know,
Very important.
Two things can be true at the same time. So that's where we're at now with the role players. But of course, Southern University and Texas Southern University on the women's side went down to defeat. They're now have one loss in the loss column. Is that a good thing, some people would say? Is it good to get that loss? Because, you know, last week, Charles, I said Southern University would not go undefeated in the conference. It's just very tough. And then we went on with the conversation about, you know, being a one big conference. It's a lot of pressure. You've got to kind of go at least – you can't have no more than 1 or 2 losses, in my opinion, in most years. I know sometimes there's an exception, Coach Pettaway.
Right.
But when you look at it, Southern's non-conference victories, you know, we talked about it, Louisiana Tech and Tulsa. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. And, you know, over the years, we've seen some big wins in non-conference. So it'll be interesting. AD Drew is in. Hold that thought. We'll bring him in. He's at the NBA HBCU Classic. AD, good morning to you, sir. How you doing?
Good morning.
Drew, AD, you on mute. You on mute.
Oh, your microphone's muted. There you go. Oh, we still don't hear you.
Good morning. Uh-oh.
Let's give him a second to see if he can.
Yep. Now he's noise.
Me?
No.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, there we go.
There you go.
All right. Let me start this interview over.
Oh, just went out.
And he went out again.
He went out again.
Now, he's probably going to have to log back in.
No.
Well, he's at the
Get the
NBA
mic.
HBCU Classic.
He just got off a meeting with Pat Riley.
We'll get back to that.
Are you there?
Yeah, we got you, AD.
Yeah. No, we go to state out here trying to figure out what they're gonna do after their trade, Carlos. They robbed Miami and everything. So Jimmy Butler, trying to get acclimated out here. Good morning, Carlos, Coach, AD Brown, and of course the one and only Tall Man Radio. How's everybody doing this day?
Doing fine, man.
We're doing fine. We got you loud and clear now.
All right. Appreciate y'all giving me a couple of minutes of y'all time. Just want to make sure we tell everybody today at 5 o'clock Eastern, 4 o'clock Central, 3 o'clock Mountain, and 2 o'clock Pacific time, we will be taking on Tuskegee University in the 4th annual HBCU NBA Classic. We will be coming from Oakland Arena. We'll be live in Oakland Arena today, so it's going to be a great matchup. Anytime Tuskegee and Morehouse get together on the hardwood, Coach Pettaway knows how these rivalries can go. And for Alabama A&M, Coach Pettaway, remember, it didn't matter if it was Alabama State, Tuskegee, or Miles. Those crowds always brought the energy when we went up there to Elbow when we played y'all up there, Coach. So. We're hoping to bring that same type of energy out here to the West Coast, because I know when their game's in Forbes, and I've been on both sides when it was in Forbes or in James Arena at Tuskegee, it's always great energy. So we want to see what our alumni fans out here do with this game. Of course, bringing the HBCU atmosphere. This is supposed to be a football-like atmosphere here. They're supposed to be tailgating in the parking lot, all different types of stuff. Going on out here. There have been parties, NBA parties, alumni parties, parties, you name it. We've been exposed to it out here this weekend. And of course, the young men and the young ladies who've traveled with us have enjoyed themselves. You can see we've been pushing out different things, both schools from social media point of view, just different appearances. We participated in the Junior NBA Day of Service where they did camps for the kids on yesterday, did a photo shoot, did the appearances where it was a different I think it was a Foot Locker appearance. Yeah, that was Foot Locker that we did it at. And I don't know how many of you all saw the Rising Stars game yesterday, but they did an appearance doing the Rising Stars game yesterday. So and we're looking to test to this. Mm-hmm. I guarantee you that the kids are enjoying this trip more than I am as an administrator.
Yeah.
Because when they have downtime and everything else, I'm back in the room working, trying to make sure we set up for whatever our next task is. And Coach can, to a certain extent, going back to the room, breaking down film or game plan or meeting with your coaches or meeting with your team and everything else. So I know two gentlemen on here can feel the pain that I'm going through. I won't enjoy this trip until after we beat Tuskegee today, getting at 2 o'clock Pacific time. Yeah, I said it, and I'm gonna own it.
Yeah. Hey, well, look, I think it's great, man, for HBCU basketball and for you all for the SIAC to be showcased, man. And I've got fond memories from the SIAC. So you all enjoy yourselves, man, and represent well.
Yeah. And Coach, what other two teams could you pick in the SIAC to play this rivalry? I mean, you can't take Tuskegee and Miles. It makes no sense of moving that game out of Alabama. You can't take Morehouse and Clark and move that game out of Atlanta. Makes no sense. Same thing with Albany State, Fort Valley. You don't move that game out of Georgia. This is the one rivalry that just made sense to move somewhere with to make it the conference's showcase game for the season.
Right, because see, you got alumni bases all over. Remember, that's why I used to, Coach McAfee and I, that's why we used to go to Detroit, because we had great crowds in Detroit, and Morehouse, Tuskegee, I don't care where they play, people are coming. They gonna come.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about the top 5 brands in HBCU, when you just name recognition, I don't care what order you put them in. Right. These two institutions are in your top 5 somewhere, and if I'm wrong, somebody please tell me I'm wrong.
Right.
And a lot of times it'll be the only opportunity some of those kids get to go out on the West Coast. You know, and you can't put a price tag on that right
Yep.
there alone.
Well,
You know.
Coach Brown, this is the first time I've ever been in California. So you talk about the kids. My first time being in California, as far west as I've gone, is Vegas and to Phoenix. So I've never been in the state of California. So it's a first for me also.
Right. Great experience for those kids. Yep.
Yes.
Both institutions. Yep.
And AD, they get a chance to kind of talk with some of the NBA players, coaches, executives. I think that's great exposure.
Yeah, I don't know if y'all saw the picture I posted on social yesterday. I took a picture with Bugsy Bogues, and I'm like, that's the first time I've ever been taller than an NBA player.
well, that ain't saying a whole lot.
hey, you sum up your area, Wheeler, so you know what I'm talking about.
Right down the street.
Exactly. Exactly. And speaking of Bugsy Bogues, I remember that Dunbar team that he played on, because he's a few years older than me when he was in high school. Man, that's got to be one of the greatest high school teams I have ever seen in Simple.
Yep.
But and I'll throw a little story out there while we're at that. Believe it or not, there was a team probably about maybe 10 years before that was even better.
Wow.
And you might say that's hard to say, but they went undefeated. They had to wind up playing all their games on the road because of a fight at home.
Wow.
And they went undefeated on the road.
That's outstanding.
No fans, nobody, just the two teams in the gym, that sort of thing. And them boys went undefeated.
All right.
That was Skip Wise and all those boys. I don't know if you guys ever heard of Skip Wise before.
I know Skip Wise. I know who Skip Wise is.
Yeah. Yep. But he has some hellacious teams back there in the early 70s.
Yeah. Well, y'all producer Bell just shot me a text telling me it's time for me to get off of here. Charles wanted to get something in quick before I tell everybody where to watch at and tune in today.
Go ahead.
You get a chance to see Steph Curry?
Not yet. Not yet. I although I did bump into Trae Young in the corridor yesterday. So and once again, it's amazing. You see him on TV, but when you see him in up close and in person, some of them are bigger than you thought they were. Some of them are not as big as you thought they were. But they just regular old dudes, man.
Wow.
Yeah.
So AD, where's the game being? Where will they be able to pick it up?
If you want to, first of all, if you want to find the game easy, you can log on to www.morehouseathletics.com, because on the homepage of our athletic website, I've got all kind of links and information for the game. So you can definitely go there. But you can also go. Game will be broadcast on not one, not two, but 3 networks simultaneously. It'll be on ESPN. It will be on True TV, and it will also be on NBA TV beginning at 2:00 Pacific time. It's 5 o'clock for y'all out there from Atlanta, and 4:00 for y'all from that other state, that Dixie state or whatever y'all want to call it. I can't own them no more. Yeah, I got my degree from there, but I can't own them no more. I got to do it about once a month. That I got to do that.
On that note, AD, thanks for all the information, and we appreciate it. And we'll
just
talk to you again soon.
Appreciate y'all giving me about 5 minutes of y'all time. I'll be watching the rest of the show as we head on the bus heading to Oakland.
All right.
All right. Have fun.
AD Drew on the West Coast. Now, speaking of West Coast, somebody as famous as the West Coast, he's iconic, along with Charles Edmond, as far as broadcasting. And one of the things I love about doing this, just the relationships that you've made with A.D. Wheeler Brown, Coach Vann Pettaway, everybody. If I wasn't doing this type of media, I wouldn't have met all these wonderful guys. Chatterbox, Larry Hale joins us. I'm suspecting he's in the great metropolis of Grambling, Louisiana. Chatterbox.
Yes.
Morning.
No, actually, I went back to Houston.
Oh man. You did.
I'm waiting on my helicopter to come pick me up and bring me because I wanted no more parts of Louisiana after we got wore out.
Oh,
but as the great Vann Pettaway always told me, you got to move on to the next city, baby. You got to put this behind you and move on to the next city, especially folks like you. You got to have a real short memory. So Thursday night was a big humdinger. I'm in Grambling. I'm in Ruston, Louisiana right now. So very, very short turnaround for Texas Southern as far as the men and women is concerned. So with the new Thursday schedule, I had to kind of moving at a fast pace to get the information out.
Hey, I understand that, Chatterbox. And let's talk about this TSU team. We kind of talked about them earlier on in the show. On the men's side, well, let's go to the women first. They have been a pleasant surprise. If I'm not mistaken, prognosticators had them way down low.
Way down to the bottom. But one thing about Coach Burnett Skeet and Charlie Edmonds and I talked about this, and you said, is she going to be all right? I said, well, Charlie, I just think she has some pieces in place that I haven't really seen. But when she let those Lady Tigers out of that cage and we beat Grambling and we beat Southern and we were down by 15 to Southern at home, you didn't see that same Texas Southern basketball where they just kind of got quiet and sucked and gave up. These Lady Tigers fought back and they won the basketball game and they went on to win 11 games. And eventually I knew at some point that they were probably going to lose or let one slip away. But championships are won in March. They aren't won in February and they won in January. It's a very difficult task to go perfect and not lose a game. And sometimes if you go 11-0, 12-0, 13-0, Coach Vann Pettaway will tell you kind of get complacent. As we say in the old school, you kind of get the big head, start smelling yourself. So I just think that this was a teachable moment, a teachable loss for Texas Southern. And the thing about it, we didn't hit one three-pointer in that basketball game. It seems like maintenance came in and put on a glass lid. I'm not sure if Carlos Brown put the work on in for that. I could thank Freeze for that, the equipment guy. You know, those lids that make it seem like they go in, but they don't. I guess I thought they put those away when Ben Job left, but somebody found them and brought it back out.
Right.
As you see, I have my jackpot T-shirt on every time Texas Southern hits a three-pointer. I yell jackpot. But unfortunately, I had to turn this thing inside out because we didn't hit any threes.
Right.
It was nothing.
Hey, so Chatter, that means there was a lot of off lines that night then, wasn't it?
Was it ever? Off lines, a lot of off lines.
Yeah.
So it's just one of the things you got to kind of put in the rearview mirror and get ready for a tough Grambling State basketball team who have won their last two. So I just hope that Texas Southern does not let Southern beat them twice.
Right.
If you know what I mean.
Right. That's why they got to be
You
ready.
can't let them beat you twice. You got to put it in the rearview mirror. When I talked to one of the coaches, they said that they had a very spirited practice on yesterday. So hopefully they'll get their rear in gear and get back to the way they're supposed to play Texas Southern basketball. Henderson got in foul trouble in the very beginning of the game. She lost. She had 3 fouls in the first half. Came in the third quarter, had another foul, and she played most of the fourth quarter with that 1 foul. And finally, they gave her the whistle. She was out of there.
And you know, Chatterbox, you mentioned about Texas Southern the first meeting, coming from behind to take care of business. I still believe, in just my opinion, that Texas Southern women, they've been the most consistent throughout the conference season. And there's a reason why they're number one. And they're still number one until otherwise.
Right.
But with all that being said, it could be a possibility that they will meet again, Texas Southern and Southern.
I think, really, to be honest with you, it's tough to win in Baton Rouge. You can say what you want to say, especially if Southern, the fact that we beat Southern the first time. Okay, we can't, we Texas Southern can't sneak up on anybody anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Charlie,
Mm-hmm.
they know we're coming, Wheeler Brown.
Huh.
It's circle when Texas Southern's
Mhm.
coming. Same thing as any sport, football, basketball. You watch it during the week. Hey man, these young ladies are playing some great basketball, and we've had some close games to where we pull things out. It worked in our favor, but it's not going to be like that every night, especially if you're on the road in a hostile environment like Baton
Mhm.
Rouge, Louisiana, and the
Mm-hmm.
fans there were acting as if they had won the championship. And I said, hey, don't drop the confetti just yet.
No,
Don't
no,
drop the
you're
confetti
right.
just yet. And you know how you Jaguar fans can be. You pull up a pom pom out from under your seat and get to waving it. And all of a sudden you find me and then you hear me talking and they want to start talking to me. But I'm doing the broadcast. I'm not a fan. The Southern fans get engaged and the Jackson State fans get engaged with me. I don't know why. It used to be Alabama A&M, especially in the Elmore Gymnasium. And when I would say we would have the lead or we'd be down, they would stand behind me and say, hey, radio man, you better tell them the truth. Coach Pettaway, tell the radio man to tell them the truth. Tell the truth down there in Houston. And it's just, man, it's just that rivalry, man. Is just each and every week. You never know what you're going to get on a magnificent Monday or a sensational SWAC basketball Saturday. And that's why I love doing it for 25 seasons, man. It's never a dull moment. In any gymnasium you go to, it's always a surprise. No, you met it. Just like Monday night, I won't be on the floor. I'll be up one level, sitting behind because it's a televised game. They have me in like a little box thing, not like the crow's nest at Alcorn State, which is very comfortable, but the stairs were killing. But I'm up a level.
Yeah.
So they made a comment that I found out where I was going to be, but it's just going to be an amazing weekend for Texas and SWAC basketball in particular. But that girl from Southern, Tate, she is phenomenal. She put Southern on her back. When Fontenot didn't have a good night, she put Southern on her back and willed away. Now the men's game is going to be a dogfight.
Yeah.
Weisinger's still hurt for Texas Southern. He's game for game. And to me, Southern is a very physical basketball team. I know it took a lot out of them to lose that game to Alabama State. That was a perfect basketball team. You've seen what happened. But I'm sure they can't put that in the rearview mirror because Coach Anderson is definitely going to have those young men ready to go today and Monday. So you got a Prairie View team coming into another hostile environment. They've been down, but a wounded animal is the worst animal you ever want to face.
Yep.
And Chatterbox, I've said it with Southern with that big number one target on their back. We're gonna get everybody's best shot. Johnny Jones coming back to the state of Louisiana, not his first time coming back, but he's gonna have him ready. I look for an exciting and entertaining and tough matchup Monday night.
Yeah, and Wheeler Brown, this recruiting class, we got 8 offensive linemen. I couldn't
All
believe
right
it.
now, all right now. Don't get much better than that.
Where is the beef?
Yeah.
It's down in Texas at the ranch at 3100 Cleburne. I was like, oh my God. Really? A lot of defensive linemen, a lot of offensive linemen because, games are won in between the trenches.
Okay. Coach got it going in the right direction.
We'll see.
I got a question
Go
for you,
ahead.
Chatterbox. You talk about Texas Southern's men. They've lost 3 in a row. I know you all had to do that game with UAPB on a Tuesday, and you had a quick turnaround. You talked about Weisinger. Is that kind of the key piece as to how this slide has occurred?
Well, I really can't say that, but other guys just have to step up. Weisinger has an injury; he's trying to nurse and get back together. But he has been a very big spark plug for us. But when we played UAPB, it seems like we just let them hang around, hang around, and hang around, and hang around. And then the game got tight, and they took the lead, and we took the lead back. And it just, man, it seems like they play tougher the more the crowd gets into it. the more they get into it. You had senior citizens, 85 and 80 years old, yelling, "Go! Come on, Golden Light!" I said, "Hey, ain't y'all supposed to be asleep by now? It's late. Go to bed.
No.
This is none of your business. Why are you still here?" But that was a very hostile environment. University of Arkansas Pine Bluff is a very tough place to play.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Dr. Bradley scored a lot of points, but it was some other people that did some other things to keep it going, and then he came on late and scored, and then you had Bethune-Cookman come to town. Then you had Florida A&M, Shaq's son, who really hadn't gotten a lot of minutes at Texas Southern because he had a lot of dogs in front of him, but he came and scored about 8 points against Texas Southern. And I talked to him after the game, and he was very excited to see myself and Lonzo Giles and a lot of the support staff. And, I said, "Man, I'm proud of you. Even though you didn't finish it here, you went somewhere where you can excel, and it fits your style of play. At the end of the day, it's not about me. It's about the kids.
Yeah.
It's about the young men and young women. Even though you transfer, you still have some kind of special place in your heart for them." So
Yes, yes, sir.
kudos to that young man. And one thing about Bethune-Cookman, a very physical basketball team. Now, Bethune-Cookman is a wounded dog. They had 6.5 players. Reggie Thea said it. And for them to come out and play very physical and very aggressive against Texas Southern on the road, they had the assignment. But hopefully Texas Southern shakes that off, shake that losing streak off, and get back to our winning ways. We have 2 big games on today and for the men and women. Then we got a huge game on Monday night against Southern University. I'm sure that same guy is going to be there with that same pom-pom. So I just have to put my, how a horse has his blinders on?
Yes.
For the Kentucky Derby, I have to put that on, not even look over there.
Yes.
So,
and one of the things we've been talking about on today's show, role players.
Yes.
They're important, they're needed, and in some cases they step up. When the starter's down, starter's not playing well, hey, you put him in.
And Keelan Farouk has been a big role player who's been injected into the starting lineup. Kenny Hunter didn't start the last game. Grayson Carter didn't start the last game. Keelan Farouk has come off the bench, played some great defense for us. He's a legacy Tiger. When I say legacy Tiger, his mother and his dad went to Texas Southern. He went to Yates High School, which is around the corner from Texas Southern. So, man, he's the third ward guy through and through, and I have nothing but great respect for him. But I remember him when he was like a baby coming around the campus, and now he's scoring baskets and dunking for Texas Southern. It's just great.
That's good.
Well,
that's awesome. That's what it's all about.
Coach Pettaway, I heard you were going back into coaching.
No, you didn't hear that.
As they say, my sources tell me. Vann Pettaway is on the short list.
I'm not, Chatter. I'm gonna let them have that, man.
Seems like you're comfortable in that chair. I kind of believe you.
That's what I'm telling you. I'm undefeated on the sideline. I'm undefeated, man. And nobody called a check for me. Nobody has called me since I've been in this chair.
It's been so funny that you say that. Our vice admiral, which is our president of Texas Southern, was the guest coach when we played Bethune-Cookman, right? And I said, "Mr. President, now that you're 1-0, what are your plans?" He said, "I think I'm going to step away." I said, "Oh, you're going to step away to run the university again?" And he started laughing.
Well,
that chair looks real comfortable on you, Coach Pettaway. It really does.
The chair, I tease Coach Pettaway about consulting. That I can see him doing that. But if he's officially retired, hey, just seeing him come to the FG Clark Activity Center, that was my favorite visiting coach coming in. What was it? 40 minutes.
Was it when they had Obi Trotter?
Oh my God, Obi Trotter. Used to have nightmares with that young man. My good.
And trust me, no one could get on Obi Trotter like Vann Pettaway and Mikael Gladness.
Yes.
Gladness, yeah.
And Mikael would stand up straight, and Van said, man, you get out here. I want to make sure you hit me. You been your tall, you know what down here. I want to make sure you get this message. Straight from me. Straight from me. He said, don't you stand way up there. If I have to get up there with you, you ain't gonna like it. So he would have to bend down and get with Van, because whatever Van had to say, he wasn't for everybody's ears. But it's never been a dull moment when he gets up and calls timeout. He said, give me one. And he calls it, you get over here. But I don't think he could be a consultant because he gives too much to the game. He'll go from consulting 1 minute to tell the coach to get at the bench. The other minute he'll just put it on the inboard and finish it out.
Coach Gray said Coach Pettaway and Coach Strickland.
Oh man.
And then you remember the M9 section at Southern University basketball? Yep. I think they were saying something one time, and Coach Pettaway, I can't repeat what I seemed like. I was trying to read lips. What you were saying to the M9 section, and that was a section that would get on every opposing coach, and they were sitting right by the bench there. But those were some of the things that made it just so, just outstanding, besides what went on the court,
Right. And I'm going to tell you something, man. Guys like Lafayette Scribbling, I know Valley State is having a tough time right now, but what made Lafayette Scribbling so unique and Dave L. Whitney so unique, they can go to the sticks and get some of the baddest ball players that you would have ever thought. Ashley Robinson, Willie Neal, what's the guy, Artarius Norwood. Those guys, man, really, and that SWAC tournament, when they came down to the SWAC tournament and they were undefeated, and I think they got beat that first night. I don't know if it was A&M that beat them. It was somebody that beat them. They didn't even stay. They loaded the bus up because they had T-shirts made about champs or something like that. It was something crazy. And they got beat. And Lafayette was so outdone. They got on the bus the same night and went back to Ida Bena. They didn't even stay. Because back then they had a banquet that you went to before the tournament started. And I remember the year that it was Prairie View. They came in number 1. Dave L. Whitney's last season as the head coach for Alcorn. Jason Cable, who's the athletic director for state, was on that team. They beat Prairie View. And Roger Riley slammed the basketball down on the floor. And the ref said, when it comes down, you got to check. And he got out of the game. That was a shocker to me. That was a big shock because Prairie View had Roger Riley and Greg Burks. Alabama and A&M had Mikael Gladys and Obi Trotter. Texas Southern had Rakim Hollis. And that was just, Ruben Stiff was on that team for Alcorn State, Jason Cable. And Southern had Travion Scott, if I'm not mistaken. So that was, man, some huge basketball being played back then. It was a very guard-heavy league, but you did want to get into the big man, but it was some great talent back then, man. It was just awesome.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. When you and Charles broadcasting days are over, man, y'all could put together some memoirs.
I heard Charles Edmond has a book coming out already. He's got a book deal with Amazon already.
Well, Chatterbox, you need to get on that deal.
The truth behind the TP with Charles Edmond, inside and outside.
But Chatterbox, you and Charles should really think about putting pen to paper, man, because you all have so much knowledge, man, and so much wisdom that you can share with people about the SWAC, especially SWAC basketball, man. That's something I think you all should really think about seriously, man. You need to put something down because I think it's worthy. You all are true professionals, and I think that needs to be part of your legacy.
Well, I mean, Charles is way more professional than I am because he doesn't ride the refs like I do. I tried to change my way of thinking But when the calls go against us, I go right back into my old self. But shout out to the young broadcasters of today, like OJ at Grambling State, who's coming along really well. Santorius groomed him, and Ossie Clark will be on with the SWAC Digital Network today. It'll be great to see him. Just guys, man, it's just like people get you just don't realize how many miles you put in away from your families, away from your loved ones, just to do this job that we love to do. And if we didn't love to do it, we wouldn't do it. And the kids really make the difference. And the different personalities and the difference you make each and every week to do this thing. And I just feel blessed, man, to have some great friends and fans that love to listen to me each and every week to give out that information.
Yes, sir. Yeah. That's why I said both you and Charles, and the relationships, Willa Brown, Coach Pettaway, you Chatterbox. I'm blessed to be able to, through sports, to meet all these great gentlemen, and relationships are really, really important. Chatterbox, closing comments for you, sir.
Well, I just think it's going to be a great weekend for Texas Southern. I look for us to rebound. Hopefully, we can rebound and get our act together. The women's side, let's not let Southern beat us twice. Let's hope that the men can figure things out, which I know Johnny Jones is a great basketball coach, and they're going to come around at some point. Just like last season, we came into the tournament number 8.
Yep.
And Johnny Jones said they made a mistake. They let me in here. So Coach Jones said, they didn't say that. He didn't say they made a mistake. He said something else. Yeah. But he said they made a mistake and let me in here. Yeah. And I had a chance to go talk to Coach Pettaway at the top of his broadcast. Yep. He said, what y'all going to do? And I said, Coach Pettaway, Johnny Jones made a mistake. He said they made a mistake. They messed up and let me in here. So they're going to have to deal with me now. And I said, yeah. And Rob J. Can't forget about Rob J. Oh, yeah. He's called the games from Jackson State for numerous of years, man. And he's a great friend of mine. And we just do it for the love of it. But I just think it's going to be a great weekend. And I look for Texas Southern to come back and hopefully sit that guy down in Southern that had the pom-poms. And he won't be waving it so hard. He'll leave early, go home, and watch the news.
Well, Chatterbox, hopefully you're much more successful today than Monday.
Yeah. And you know what will really make me successful and smile, man? Is if I get my wings from you, brother.
Oh!
I have hired a collection agency to call you on a spam call. I've got a collection firm to collect my wings and fries, Wheeler Brown. I'm tired of taking the low road. I got to take the high road now to get to this man. I have to have him served. Hey, you Carlos Brown? Yes, you've been served like on Law and Order. I got to get this guy served, man, to get my wings. I love him to death, but I got to get my wings, bro.
Hey,
I got him on a 2-year deal. I got him on a 2-year deal.
No, this is like 5 years ago. This is like 5 years ago. I think I was still married at the time. It's been 5-6 years ago.
If I've been served,
my ex-wife even asked me, "Did you ever get your wings?" I said, "No."
Hey, I've been served. Now I gotta serve the chicken wings.
Jackpot for the Texas Southern Tigers on today.
Yep, got you.
Yeah, today, Chatterbox. We appreciate it. We'll talk again soon, my man.
All right, y'all have a good one.
All right. Be good, man.
All right. Chatterbox, something else.
Never a dull moment.
No, sir. We'll take a quick timeout. Coach Damarcus Miller joins us. And boy, he's looking good physically. And we want to talk about his defensive line class that's coming in. He'll join us next. You're watching the Carlos Brown Show right here on the Black College Sports Network.
Since 2002, Empowerment Resources, Inc., a nonprofit organization, has empowered more than 1,500 youth and adults in Duval and surrounding counties. Through its programs, Journey into Womanhood, Girls Mentoring, Life Skills for Teens, and parenting education coaching. To get involved with programs, volunteer, or donate, visit www.empowermentresourcesinc.org. Follow us on social media, facebook.com/empowerment.resources and instagram.com/empowermentjax.
The human voice has always connected audiences with experiences. Major brands all across America have trusted Kever's voice time and time again. Conversational, powerhouse, intelligent, and sincere. That's the voice you need for your creative marketing process. KEAVERSVOICE.com. Kever's Voice, Kever's Voice, KeversVoice.com. Always on, all the time.
It's never too early to plant the seed, to share the tradition, and instill a sense of pride in your HBCU with your little ones. HBCU Pride and Joy Children's Boutique helps you share your school spirit with a wide selection of adorable kids apparel and accessories officially licensed from your favorite HBCU. Visit hbcupridejoy.com and follow us on all social media at HBCU Pride Joy on Facebook and Twitter.
When it comes to professional learning, teachers deserve better. From the leader in online learning, Stride brings you the Stride Professional Development Center, an on-demand library of mobile-friendly courses that gives teachers choice and flexibility, allowing them to learn anytime and anywhere. Our dynamic courses provide bite-sized learning and help educators advance their knowledge while also gaining professional development hours. It's time you take charge of your learning. Visit us today to get started.
Welcome back to this week's edition of the Coles Brown Show right here on the Black College Sports Network. Panel, guess what? I'm going to have to deliver. Yeah, pay up, franchise. I got to deliver those chicken wings. You think Monday would be a good time, Charles?
Yeah.
Right before the game?
Definitely.
And then take a picture of it so it can circulate on social media that Jets paid.
Verification. Called verification.
Got to have the receipts. Got to have documentation. Speaking of documentation, let's join our next guest, Coach Damarcus Miller, who also has a hand in the, what can we say, barbecuing, meat master, all of that good stuff.
Real master, huh?
That pit master, baby. Pit master. What's going on, fellas?
Good afternoon, Coach. Look at that. Coach is looking outstanding. Look at there.
Yeah. I told you, I'm not knocking down them 300 pounders no more. I don't need all that extra.
Yeah, I understand. Coach, a pleasure to have you on. Defensive line coach at Southern University. We're going to get into the 2025 recruits. But your 2024 season, Western Division champions, you make it to the SWAC football championship game. Fell a little short, but as you look at a rewind situation, your unit as a whole, how were you satisfied? Were you satisfied? Do you think you could get more? Just your thoughts on that 2024 season.
Well, never satisfied. You know, the goal is to finish with the ring. So when you don't finish with the ring, that part is not – that don't sit well. But, you know, do I think we had a decent season? Decent is good, but it's not good enough for us. You know, I think we got the most out of our guys. We got some guys that played well, that played above their pay grade, as you would say. But the bottom line was we didn't finish the job, and you know, in this business, that's what matters.
We're talking about role players in football. Sometimes you have those dogs up front. So, with that being said, 2025, we talked to Coach Frederick last week about replenishing the offensive line and defensive line. So, needs versus wants as far as recruiting, you guys got your needs first.
Oh, absolutely. Anybody understand football, and I think Philadelphia showed you guys a couple weeks ago, it starts up front. And if you're going to be a championship defense, you got to have those dogs that's hunting all night long up front. And so that was the key. You know, Coach Graves told me, you go get me some dogs or you get out of here. So so I had to go dog hunting. We filled that room up.
Coach Miller.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll log him back in.
No, I'm still here.
He's still there? Oh, there we go. There we go. Okay.
Yeah.
There you go, Coach Miller.
Look at you about to get rid of me. Look at you. Look how you
No, Coach Miller. I love you to death. You were my favorite football player at Southern University.
Yes.
Defensive wise. Kelvin Givens, all the accolades for him. But talk about some of the new pieces that you guys added on the defensive line as far as 2025 recruits.
Well, you're talking about on the inside. I'm going to speak it for tackles right now. So I went and got 3 big guys, and I got 3 agile guys. So as far as the big guys, we went the JUCO route for the most part. And I ended up getting, I call him Big Sims. Big Sims is probably about 6'3". About 6'3", about 340. Then I got Big Scott. Scott's out of Riverside in California. He's about 6'3", about 300. And then I got Big Bello. Big Bello's out of Garden City. He's about 6'3", 315. So when Coach Graves and I sat down, he kind of gave me a breakdown of what he was looking for, the type of guys he wanted to fill in. And so first thing we were looking for, we wanted guys that were physical. So as we went out, we looked for physical guys. We looked out for guys that could run, guys that can change direction, guys that can get off blocks, and guys that made plays. And so that was the blueprint. That was the goal. And so we went out and got that. So I got my nose guards, and then I look at my 3 techs. So this is how I look at it, Carlos. I need block beaters, and then I need block eaters. So my block beaters are typically my 3 techs, my agile guys that consistently beat a one-on-one block. And then when I say my block eaters, those are my guys that's going to eat up 2 blocks. But remember this, how I explained it to them. I don't need you to just sit there and give up your body. Hey, we're gonna eat that block for a second, and then we're going to split it and get in that backfield. So block eaters is what we look for. And we got that, my 3 tech guys, we got Austin, we got Humble, we got Big Jones, and these are guys that are agile, that'll beat that one-on-one consistently and get that pressure up the field. And then we got a few high schooler guys, and we got a little transfer guy. I don't even know if we can mention the transfer guy in yet. I don't know if we've made that one public. But we end up getting about 8 to 9 new bodies in the defense, just defensive tackles alone.
Wow. Well, and then that leads you going into the spring, a good mix of high school, JUCO, and transfers. What will be the first and immediate goal going into spring practice?
Always in spring is come out with no injuries. Come out with no injuries. Next thing is to make sure the guys understands the system, understand their role. It's about roles. Everybody has their roles. Understand, get comfortable in your roles. And as I tell my guys, your job is to go take somebody's job. I tell the guys, so my existing guys, I say, look here, my job is to go find somebody better than you, and your job is to make sure that they stay on the bench. And how you do that is, first of all, know what you're supposed to do, know what you're doing, know what you're supposed to do it consistently at a high level, and then just make sure that you're that dude. And so that's their goal this summer. This spring is to learn the system, get comfortable in the system, and then dominate doing your role.
Coach Miller, is there any players that that are holdovers from the previous season that you expect them to challenge and have an input on on this football team?
Well, the only really consistent player that played for us last year that's coming back is Zach Yassine. So Zach could be an upcoming senior. And every other person coming back, pretty well role guys that this spring will give them an opportunity. Like I told them, this is your opportunity to establish that you belong. Hey, I don't cut any corners with them. I said, look, I'm bringing in 9 guys. And it's your job. This is your time to make sure that you belong on this team, because I only bring 10 total bodies to camp. And so you guys, your job to make sure you fit in that 10. And so those guys that didn't get much playing time last year, this is their time to step up. If not, Carlos, they can join the nation, and clap in the stands, and do something.
Well, here we go. We're looking into the chat room, and EA is a FAMU guy. They better be in shape, because the Rattlers will no huddle them this year. Okay, thanks a lot, EA.
He's very wise. He's such a wise individual.
Yeah. But last year is last year. This year is this year. But and I'm asking you the same question I asked Coach Frederick. 2026 recruiting needs. What are you going to be looking at? D-line, O-line, always?
Always.
Yep.
Always. You can never have enough big bodies. And I think you go on every level. It's always going to start at the D-line and O-line. And then I think you can just, piece in what do you need from there. But if you, like I said, if you don't have the big boys up front hunting, on the other side, big boys up front blocking, I don't care. You can have a superstar. I can have Tom Brady back there. We can have him block forward. If nobody's protecting him, it does you no good. And Dion can be on the corner, but if he's not getting any pressure up front, they're going to get him sooner or later. So it always starts up front, Carlos.
Mm-hmm. Understood. And Coach, the 2025 schedule is out. Any thoughts on that schedule?
Yeah, the first game of the season. The SWAC MEAC championship. That's the only game that matters.
Yeah.
And North Carolina Central. I mean, I know a lot in the coaching profession. You know each other, but it's always an opportunity for you to go up against your peers. And Trey Oliver for North Carolina Central.
Well, yeah, I don't know much about Trey. I wasn't here when Trey was here. So to me, it's just another game. And our guys, we're going to prepare the same way. We understand the history, but it's about representing Southern University and then representing the SWAC conference. And so that's what we're representing. But, our focus is on whoever we line down. They got to get it, Carlos.
Well, Coach Graves know him very well.
Oh, yeah.
Coach Alva at North Carolina Central. And I think because of the guys that you're bringing in, when we think of North Carolina Central, very physical. The MEAC, they brag a lot because they've kind of had the ups on the SWAC. But that's gonna change, Coach Miller.
Absolutely. we didn't bring any soft guys in as well. And if you've watched us play the last 3 years, we're not a soft team as well. We play football and we get it down and dirty as well. But hey, we, like you said, we focus on as Coach Gray said, the precious present. And so Nick Saban said, be where your feet are, and that's where we are right now. And our focus is, this offseason, our goal is to get bigger, faster, and stronger, and make sure that we're healthy. Obviously, thanks to the FAMU guy, we're going to try to really get in shape and be in the best shape possible so we can compete at a high level consistently when this thing get rolling.
Well, they may not want to admit it, but a couple of years ago, some of the FAMU on our network guys, our colleagues, said that Southern game was one of the tougher games that they played when last time they came to A.W. Mumford Stadium. So that's what a good rivalry is. You win some, you lose some. But 2025 is a different year.
Absolutely, you better believe it.
On that note, Coach Miller, any closing comments for the Jaguar Nation and the SWAC Nation? Because they are, Coach, the Jackson State alums are in the chat room. FAMU, Alabama State, Texas Southern, Prairie View.
Hey, as you say, we'll see you when we see you. But just for the nation, hey, just continue supporting, do what you do. These guys need your love, your support, not just your hand clap. They need you to drop off that, come out that pocket a little bit as well. But be there for these guys, support these guys, and go Jags.
Yep.
There you go.
On that note, Coach Miller, appreciate the time. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we'll talk again real soon. And by the way, we gotta sample some. You're not retired with the Meat Master, huh?
No. The pit still is going. It's just the time, but we always find a little time. I'm gonna get you over at the house. I owe you.
Well, yeah, and look, and I owe Chatterbox for some chicken wings, but might have something for you for some barbecue. This could be big. This could be big. I'll talk to you about it, and I'll give you ample time enough to be able to.
All right, hit me up. Hit me up.
That's right. Coach Miller, be blessed. We'll talk to you real soon.
No doubt. You guys take care now.
All right, Coach.
That was Coach Damarcus Miller. Boy, fun guy. Coach Pettaway.
Yeah.
A barbecue master.
Right. But look, let me tell you what I took from that and what Jag Nation you should take from that. Every description he made of his defensive lineman, one word was in common. Big. Big. Yep. So that's good. That's nice. That's nice.
Well, one of the guys he talked about, we're scheduled. Hopefully, we'll be able to have him on at about 12:35. Darren Tilden Scott, River City Community College in California. It's still early there. We'll talk with him hopefully. But let's switch gears. Charles, the baseball predicted order of finish. Anybody want to guess who is predicted to win it all?
Jackson State.
I'm hearing two answers there, two different answers.
G-Man. The G-Man.
I haven't seen the predicted order of finish. I know that came out recently, but if I'm going to guess, I'm going to say it's Grambling repeating.
That is correct. Predicted order of finish. Grambling State. Bethune-Cookman number 2. 3, Jackson State. Wow, Jackson State over Alabama State. 4th, Alabama State. 5th, FAMU. 6th, Southern. 7th, Texas Southern. 8, Prairie View. 9, Arkansas Pine Bluff. 10, Alabama A&M. Alcorn State 11. And 12, Mississippi Valley State. Preseason Player of the Year, Jordan McClatty, Jackson State. Preseason Pitcher of the Year, Caleb Granger, FAMU. I'm not surprised. No divisions now.
No.
So it's Eastern heavy.
Yep, it's the top 8 out of 12 teams, regardless. They go to the tournament, and that's going to make it really interesting who makes the top 8. But Grambling got off to a good start last night with a win over Jackson State. I saw some of the highlights, and let's make no bones about it. Those two teams don't like each other. I mean, that is one of the fiercest black college baseball rivalries out there. It was last year was intense. It was the same way. So it was a good start for Grambling. But I've always been impressed with Coach Shoup at FAMU and what he's done. You got Coach Vasquez at Alabama State will be up there. I think it'll be a very interesting race. And then for us, we got Carlton Hardy, longtime coach at Savannah State, was very successful there. Now, we're supposed to play Valley in their tournament this weekend because of bad weather. They're not going to play till Monday. But I'm anxious to see what Coach Hardy's going to do. And I think people love him. His players like his work ethic. So I think the Braves, got some work to do, but I think they'll be more competitive. So I think SWAC baseball is going to be very competitive. And the tournament's in Birmingham at the old Rick Root Park.
And Cactus Jack baseball tournament in Houston. Our
Mhm.
producers there, Melody. We got to say marvelous, magnificent Melody. Yeah, that's a better subscription, don't you think, Wheeler?
I think
And
so. I believe so. I believe
and
so.
Special Mel.
There's a final there.
I like magnificent Mel. Southern University, Rashard Grace with the win over Texas Southern. And by the way, you can see it on several spots, but you can also see it on this network as well. Southern over Texas Southern 8-3, 14 hits, no errors. Texas Southern, yeah, my BCSN.net is where you can actually see it. Thanks a lot, magnificent Melody. And it was brought to my attention. That was the first time in about 6 or 7 games that Southern University beat Texas Southern. Wow. Because last year, I guess they won like 6 straight against Southern University. Also, of course, it was Grambling State over Jackson State, 8-7. And Prairie View A&M quietly kept. They defeated Alabama A&M 10-6. Hell, baseball is off to a good start. I think I had a couple other scores as well. Oral Roberts over UAPB in game 1, 3-2. FAMU over Tennessee Martin, 4-2. Yeah, Jackson, Alabama A&M are on now. Thanks, Melanie. Oral Roberts over UAPB, 3-0. It was Southern Indiana over Alabama State, 3-1. And Stony Brook over Bethune-Cookman, 7-4.
Well, Carlos, got a question for you. I know we talked during the off season about Coach Crenshaw. You know, he got off to a great start, but it's been kind of tough times. What do you think about Southern baseball? Is this a big year for Coach Crenshaw, the Jaguar Nation in baseball?
In my opinion, yes. Because well, no, Willa. I mean, and he's got more than a 2-year contract too. You know, he came in, off of Carrick Jackson. We all know who. And by the way, the Andre Dawson Classic, I think, is coming up very shortly. Maybe next weekend, and Missouri is playing in that one.
Yeah.
And Coach Carrick Jackson.
Good move.
Yeah, watch the Cactus Jack HBCU Classic on my BCSN.net. And kind of roll the success and talent of Carrick Jackson. Then Coach Crenshaw did get a championship. You remember that Southern Jackson State game when the ball was hit? And so it's kind of, what have you done for me lately? Fair or unfair? 2 things could be correct at the same time. But to answer your question, in my humble opinion, I think this is a big year, Wheeler.
So you think he's on the hot seat? That's what you're saying.
No. I didn't say hot seat. No, I didn't say. I didn't say a hot seat as I get a drink of water. The question was, Coach Pettaway, was it a big year? Is it an important year?
Yeah.
I'm saying yes to that.
Right. And she says you didn't give him a 2-year contract. That means you start giving him a chance.
That made it hot right
there. See, Wheeler's being messy here. See, that's the thing. But I think they're going to be they're deeper. They got a better team this year. They brought in some good young talent. It's a matter if they get that, mesh that together in the chemistry. I mean, expectations are always high at Southern University. But pick 6 in the predicted order of finish. The goal would be, of course, to win the regular season and to finish higher than 6, and of course to make it to the tournament, Charles. 8 teams, right?
18. Yeah.
Oh, they hadn't changed that to 10.
No.
Or 12.
No. No.
Not yet.
No.
Wait a minute. No, you're worming, Charles.
Hey, we're in different times, Carlos. We're in different times. So, hey, nothing based on what's happening in this society today. Nothing surprises me. So,
you think I'm gonna be in trouble with the commissioner when he sees me? Because I'm not in favor of the expanded basketball tournament?
No.
Okay.
No. To answer your question, no, because the commissioner is open to a lot of different ideas.
Yes, he is.
But we all know the commissioner reports to the council of presidents and the ADs and all of that. And so, again, anytime you talk about SWAC policy and you mention the SWAC office or the SEC office, those are facilitators. The policies presented in front of them that's been approved before them, they have to put forth those efforts. So the commissioner is going to do basically what he's being told by the council of presidents to do.
Without fail. Without
fail.
He'll talk about it. He may give his 2 cents worth of opinion, that sort of thing. At the end of the day, what the president say, that's what's going to be done.
And I'm always going forward, Carlos, when I talk about the commissioner, when I interview him, and I'm going to put it out there every time because I think a lot of people might not understand that perspective. And it's okay that the conference offices, whether it's the SEC, the Pac-12, whatever it is, they just inherit policy. That's all they do. And so that's what we have to put out there. People blame the commissioner this, commissioner that. No, not necessarily. These things get just like what's going to happen with this Thursday, Saturday scheduling in 2026. That's got to be voted on and approved again. Now it's getting a lot of conversation, but all the conference office is going to do is implement the approval or not. If it's not approved, my guess is that we're going back to doubleheader Saturday and Monday if it's not approved. There may be a little tweak in here there. I don't know how much you're going to tweak in terms of this Thursday, Saturday. It may just stay where it is if it's approved again. So again, to answer your question, no, the commissioner is open to a lot of different ideas and ideals, to different things. But he's got to present it to the membership. He's got to present it to the presidents and the ADs and the senior women administrators in order for it to get approved. But he does have some ideas, though. He's a business major, a finance guy. He knows numbers. So, he understands that. But he's open to a lot of different things. I can tell you that.
Well, I thought so, but I just wanted to get your opinion on that.
Oh, yeah.
Because I remember Dr. McClellan when he was doing radio with Prairie View, AD at Texas Southern, sitting right there with the SWAC baseball tournament. Easy guy to talk to.
Oh, yeah.
Talking about everything. And that's when I learned about, family-wise, sister at Southern University. And we had some good conversation about a guy you guys might remember named Roger Cador.
Yeah.
So
Dr. McClellan's father is an Alcornite. He's on Alcorn's boards, so he's he's very in tune with what's going on at Alcorn State University via his father, of course. So I mean, there's some SWAC blood there, and so I mean, there's a couple of things on the docket as far as the SWAC's concerned. Baseball went to 8 out of 12. There's no division. Softball couldn't quite pull that off. They had some communication issues. And so softball is going to have East and West for this year. But my assumption here, based on people I've talked to, is that in 2026, divisions will go away in softball as well. And I'm going to put something out there. And I'm going to ask the commissioner this to put his, future glasses on. In the SEC, they've gone away with divisions. There's no divisions in the SEC. It's the top two.
Don't tell me you're about to say football, Charles.
I'm going to bring
don't do it. Don't do it, Charles.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm going to bring it up. And whether or not it happens or not, I don't think it's going to happen in the short term. No. The answer to that question is no. But I said it on Brian's show. I think in 6 or 7 years, 8 years, I think divisions are going away in the SWAC. Just my prediction. I might be dead wrong on it. But I think that there's going to probably be some nudging of that way down the road. In the short term, no, but in the long term, very much a possibility.
What do you think about that, Wheeler?
It's going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult, no doubt about that. And, the main thing is they got to make sure it's going to be some fairness in terms of the actual scheduling in and of itself. You don't want, you want to make sure everybody is getting a healthy dose of the heavy hitters, that sort of thing. And, you're not tilting the scale in terms of, who's playing who on a yearly basis. So that rotation has got to be fine-tuned, to where, if I'm A&M, I'm playing just as many heavy hitters as, the next guy, that sort of thing. And, I ain't playing them all every year. And, you gotta mix and match that thing and make sure that you're doing it fair and equitable. And, nowadays, they got these schedulers come in. You give them the criteria that you're looking for, tell them what you're looking for, that sort of thing, and they go in the computer, and jazz it up for you and spit it out and let you know, this is what we have. This is what we're gonna work with. When you got teams want to play in this classic, that classic, and all that sort of thing, I gotta have Alabama State on my schedule every year because of X, Y, and Z. I gotta have Alcorn if I'm Jackson State. I gotta have Southern, every year, that sort of thing. And so you gotta make provisions for all that to happen. Because you're talking about big money makers for these schools.
The other thing to keep in mind now, Dr. Cavill confirmed to me, there's a 10-year master football schedule. We're 5 years in it, so we're halfway through with it. My guess is, if it happens at all, it's not going to happen until the new slate of master schedule comes out. So we're looking at beyond 5 years. Like I said, in the short term, I don't see it happening because of that. But beyond 5 years, and I don't know when they're going to start on the next master schedule. I'm sure not going to let the 10 years go and then you start on a fresh 10 years. I'm sure it'll probably be done in the next 3 years. I would imagine they'll start working on that. So I don't see it
by year 8. It'll be done by year 8.
Okay, so
it'll
3
be done
years
by
from
year 8 because it's going to take year 9 and 10 in order to finalize it and fine tune it and kick out all the bugs, that sort of thing, and make everybody happy. So
let sleeping dogs lie, Coach Pettaway.
Here's my thing, though. Because you're not playing everybody, it'll never be fair. I mean, somebody's gonna always be unhappy. Because
that's true.
Right. Somebody's gonna always be unhappy because you cannot play everybody. So everybody won't have the same schedule. They won't have the same opponents.
That's true. You're absolutely right. You just don't want to have to play those heavy hitters year in and year out.
Right.
You want to break in there, at some point in time.
Yeah, and then when you start talking about a break, you don't want to start calling out schools' names either. So.
No, you don't.
All right.
But they all know what break means now. I don't think they don't.
Well, we'll put a button on that, Charles. Once again, sometimes I think you're thinking too far ahead.
Well, I mean, hey. No.
Forbid, right?
No.
Let's be in the present. Let's get it straight.
What
we're doing now.
We're good right now. Everybody's happy about the SWAC championship game and the format and playing it on campus. People are happy with the $1 million payout, with the Celebration Bowl in Atlanta. People are happy with that, but we know the worst experience is now. Society's changing by the day. Things are changing. Things are changing pretty quickly, quicker than what we expect. So I'm not saying it's going to happen right now. Like I said, with this master schedule, it's not going to happen anytime soon. But you got ADs changing, you got attitudes changing, you got presidents changing, people in these people's ears. You just never know. And I don't know if it's going to happen, but if I'm gonna put a couple of pennies on it, I would say in the next 8 or 9 years, I think it'll happen. I may be dead wrong, and if I'm wrong, like you say, Carlos, I'm gonna come back on this platform and I'm gonna say, hey, I was dead wrong. But I do think that it will be some conversation about it. It may fall on deaf ears. But, I mean, just like in baseball, you're doing away with divisions, and softball is probably going to happen. Who's to say that conversation won't be had in the back rooms of football in the next few years? I don't know. Maybe not, but I wouldn't be surprised if it has or if it will.
And who's to say that after looking at it after a couple of years, it may not be what the conference as a whole want and go back to divisions.
Yeah.
Who knows? Let me do this. Let me switch gears, and we're at the 20-minute mark. Darren Tilden Scott, he's a 2025 Southern University signee. He's a defensive tackle. And I think Coach Damarcus Miller was just talking about those big guys. Here's a big guy that's going to be joining the football program. Darren, let's bring him up on the show. Let's see if he's still there.
Yep.
Yeah. Darren.
Hello.
Darren.
Yes, sir. Could you hear me?
Yes, sir. Shall we say good morning or good afternoon? You're in California. Good morning,
Yeah, it's
right?
good morning for me, Coach.
Oh, it's good morning. Yep.
All right. Well, pleasure to have you on the Coles Brown Show. Signing with Southern University. We just had your position coach on, Coach Damarcus Miller.
Yes, sir.
Choosing Southern University. Just kind of talk about the recruiting process coming from junior college now to Southern University.
Okay, so about my recruiting process, throughout my 2 years of me playing at RCC football, it was pretty like rocky and stuff like that. Going into this year, it started off. I had a really great beginning and start. You know, everything was where I was wanting to be, and things like that was going good. And then I started to fight like a little leg injuries and stuff like that. But then it wasn't nothing too major. It was something I could really bounce back from. And then like towards more at the end of the year, I was able to get like a lot of good film. Then I ended up reaching out to Coach Miller, and he reached back out to me and he asked me for my film. I gave him my film, and he was like, "Oh yeah, they really like my film, everything about it. You know, they like I'm really fast, big guy, good hand, good feet work, and I can move around, really get to the quarterback and make a play." And he was telling me how that I could be a player that could come to Southern, possibility start, be a leader, and be able to take care over and make plays for the school.
Now, when in your recruiting visit, and I believe I remember the date that you came in was a basketball game, but just your visit at Southern University, what stood out to you? Likes?
Oh, that was amazing. Like I felt like it was a new like area that I ain't never been before. You know, I ain't never been to Louisiana. That's my mom from Louisiana. I'm from California. So that was like my first time out there. So like being able to see like that Mississippi River, or to see how like all the support, or like how everybody's so engaged, all the love and helping, things like that. It was being able to like really kind of nice, you know, meeting a lot of like counselors and teachers and seeing like all the sources and how caring and loving they all are made me like want to go and know I'll have some support if I was to come to Southern.
Now, you know, that's interesting, panel and the guys coming from California to Louisiana. Was there anything that you heard about Louisiana that you found that wasn't true or was true when you knew you were coming on a visit to Baton Rouge, Louisiana?
I heard it's I just heard like it's a very fun school. You know, I'd never be bored. Outside of football, I have like good support and things like that to keep me busy. But realistically, the only thing I've really been hearing mostly about is just like the weather and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, the weather, the weather, the humidity, Darren, and the heat.
Yeah, and the food's really good, so I'm ready to try all that.
Right. I'm Vann.
That's important. That's important.
Yeah, very important. What are you gonna make? What's gonna be your major?
Business.
Good.
Yeah, that's good on the academic side. Business. As far as on the field, how do you feel like you can help the Southern University football program?
On the field, I feel like as like when I was talking to the coaches and getting like all the feedback through my film and stuff, and he was talking about me being a playmaker, I kind of took like that as motivation to work harder and to improve on like all my moves and things like that. So I feel like me coming in this year, I'm gonna try to come in not only as in trying to be the leader, but try to be a brother, a big brother to some others and things like that, and try to build like a more of a family and things like that. And I feel like that's like missing for us to be able to have a really good season. And I feel like I can make a lot of big open plays and playmakers during this up and coming season.
Now, the gentleman to the left, Charles Edmond, he is a famous broadcaster for Alcorn State University. So, with that being said, in the conference, you got Jackson State, you got FAMU. I have to ask, HBCU experience, is it something that you're looking forward to?
Yes, I've been looking forward since when I first got into it, like really wanted to go to HBCUs when Deion Sanders first came, and I was like, okay, that's lit, like everybody's so hyped, all the brotherhood and stuff like that. I want to be a part of that. So then, for me being able to like get Southern and being able to be committed and signed and be able to come up there and enjoy this atmosphere and be able to be a part of something new and start a new journey, I think it's a blessing.
Yeah, but Dylan, let me ask you this: who did you go for in the Super Bowl?
The Eagles.
You went for the Eagles, and why? Why did you go for the Eagles?
Because I'm a Patriots fan. I don't want Mahomes to beat that Tom Brady.
Oh boy, why is choice?
That Eagle D-line, man.
I thought you was gonna say because you like the way that defensive line was rolling out.
I was just gonna say that Eagle D-line is something different.
Yep.
I feed off a lot of that.
Yep, that's good.
And also you'll be able to participate up close with Bayou Classic. Jackson State's always a very intense game, FAMU, but overall, all of the HBCU and conference games, I think it's something, that you will enjoy. Also, the band atmosphere, all of that makes the HBCU game day experience very good.
Yes, sir. Can't wait to be a part of that.
Charles, you have a question? Any question?
Yeah, I got a question. Talk about the HBCU conversation out in California. People who are classmates or whatever, just wanting to go to HBCUs because there's not much out that way. I know you got the All-Star game and you got two teams playing out in the All-Star NBA All-Star game, but I've been out to California. Alcorn actually played Morehouse out in California, out at the Coliseum, a long time ago. But just talk about the conversation, folks out in California going to HBCUs. Is there a buzz in LA or wherever you are up and down California about HBCUs?
Yeah, I get a lot of talk about it. When I tell people I'm going to HBCU, so a lot of people don't really understand the difference between the football programs. They think it's a way lower, but they don't think it's a big program. And I have to explain to them people be telling me, oh yeah, the band's really good. Mostly Southern's just known for the band and football, and I'm like, oh yeah, it's a lot more into Southern than just the band and football. It's good. You learn a lot of things, a lot of good Black history that I'm willing to open up and learn. I was just at the hospital. I think it was yesterday, and we were talking to some doctors and stuff like that about me and my other friend that played football, and he was telling me, oh yeah, they're from New Orleans and how Southern's such a good HBCU school and stuff like that.
Yeah, and guys, this is a teachable moment as well. It's an opportunity for Darren to, while in California, and when he comes to Southern University, when he goes back, in between semesters, to be able to talk about the HBCU experience. Joseph's question is your strength stopping the run or rushing the passer? That's for you, Darren.
I'm all around. I'm both all around, coach. I could do it both.
That's good.
How about quickly on your recruiting visit? I'm sure you met some of the other players and defensive linemen that signed with Southern University as well.
Yes, sir.
What are your thoughts about them meeting them?
I was actually glad that I'm able to come in with a whole bunch of new guys.
Let's give it a second to see if he fires back up.
No, he's good. Carlos, he's good.
Hear me?
Oh, okay. Well, is it on my end?
Yeah, it must be on your end. Yeah, go ahead, Darren.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, like I was saying, I'm actually really glad and happy that I get to come in with a brand new set of guys. On the trip I was feeling them I was trying to tell them yeah, I think this is home. I feel like we can actually come in, all of us, and try to start now and try to build something and be able to win this whole thing. And I think that's pretty great. You know, I get to come in, meet a lot of new people, and a lot of new brothers, you know, a new family. So I'm ready to take on that.
Now, a human interest question. I'm kind of interested in this because every year we ask the recruits, did you partake of some famous chicken wings from the Blue Store on your recruiting visit?
No, I did not.
Oh, wait a minute.
It was TJ Ribs.
Okay.
We went to TJ Ribs, and we were sitting by another recruiter and his dad, and they were telling us about the Blue Store. And then once they brought it up, everybody started talking about the Blue Store. Yeah. I wish I could come. I wish I was able to go try it, but I know that's one thing I got to try when I get back to the Blue Store.
Yeah, definitely do. And Charles, I guess that's probably what I should do for Chatterbox, so he can get off my back about that about that bet. But Darren, we appreciate the time. Any closing comments you want to make to the Jaguar Nation?
Oh yeah, my thing it says I'm from Folsom, California, and I'm not from Folsom. I'm from Moreno Valley, California.
Moreno Valley.
Yeah, okay. I can't wait to come in and hopefully be a fan favorite, take over in the best way I can, you know, and meet a lot of new people. I'm gonna be out here training with my brothers, my boy Simeon and my boy Cap. You know, they both play football also at 2 other schools, San Jose and Portland State.
Mm-hmm. And you know, Darren, another quick thing, the HBCU experience, no matter what school you go into in the conference, you'll see some famous players. Southern University, Mel Blount, Aeneas Williams. I know Harold Carmichael, basketball, Bob Love, Avery Johnson. So that experience, you'll be able to tell your kids and your family about the HBCU experience. It's still a good situation to be in.
Right. And Darren, good luck to you. You coming into a great institution. You got a great position coach, and you have the best head coach that there is out there, Coach Graves. So
yes, sir.
Take advantage of it, man. Take advantage of it.
Thank you guys. Thank you guys for having me.
All righty. Thanks to Darren Tilden Scott, defensive tackle.
Carlos, I'm gonna have to try these wings at this Blue Store, man, because I heard about it when I was down there for basketball. I just kept hearing about it, and I just didn't get a chance to try it. I need to experience this Blue Store.
Now is that the place right outside the campus or over the hill? Yes, I've been there.
Yeah, well, it's the back of the campus coming through Mills. Yeah, but you're close, Coach Pettaway. It's right outside the campus.
Right, and it's light blue. In the building, light blue. Yeah, I've been there. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, years ago.
Yeah. That in itself is a recruiting heaven. I always got to ask people about that, man, about the Blue Store. Yeah, so Charles, you got to partake of that. Well, next time you're in Baton Rouge, I got you.
Okay. All right.
Charles, you were too busy running red lights trying to get on camera.
Yeah, you ain't lying about that. You ain't lying about that. You are absolutely correct.
Quickly, we talked about Southern men and Texas Southern women now not in the land of the undefeated. Charles, some big games this weekend, this Saturday.
Yep.
Right here. Right here in Daytona, 2 of the hottest men's teams in the conference since Southern University's experienced a loss. 2 of the hottest teams in the league is Bethune-Cookman and Alcorn State University.
Yep.
And if the Braves want to move up in the standings, I think the 1 seed's probably beyond reach, but the 2 seed's very much in play with Texas Southern struggling. Jackson's got to continue to win. We play Jackson next week. Bethune-Cookman's got obviously us, and they've got Jackson State. So there's going to be some moving pieces from 2 to 6. There's going to be some moving pieces. And on the women's side, Texas Southern's got to keep it going. They got to come to us. We're playing. The Lady Braves are playing some pretty good ball. They got to go to Jackson. So there's still some moving pieces left here in the last few weeks of the season.
Mississippi Valley State and Alabama State. Well, I'm getting ahead of myself.
Alabama A&M, yeah.
Yeah. Cause they will have plenty of time to get to the blue store. You doggone right. Oh, you know what? I'm looking at Monday's schedule. I'm sorry. TSU and Grambling State today, Bethune-Cookman and Alcorn State, Southern and Prairie View A&M, University of Arkansas, Pine Bluff and Alabama State, FAMU and JSU, and Mississippi Valley State and Alabama A&M. And now the Monday schedule, Valley and Alabama State, FAMU and Alcorn, UAPB and Alabama A&M, Grambling State and Prairie View A&M, Bethune-Cookman and JSU, and Southern and TSU. That's on the men's side, Monday night, ESPNU. If you see Chatterbox, tell him he's going to get those chicken wings. Go up to him and tell him. He's going to get them chicken wings, and I'm going to try like heck to be there Monday, and I'll post a picture.
Please do.
Please do. Debt paid off. Debt paid off. So what should I give him? A 10-piece, you think?
Oh, definitely, Carlos. No less than 10.
At least a 10-piece, huh? Yeah.
No less than 10 now. Come on.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I don't know. I was thinking about 20, one for the road.
Yeah.
But we'll take that. We'll take care of him. Don't forget, on the Black College Sports Network, Cactus Jack, Day 2 of baseball action for you. Watch the Cactus Jack HBCU Classic on my BCSN.net. Want to thank Melody, our just magnificent Melody, our producer, everybody in the chat room, our guest, Darren Scott, also Chatterbox, Larry Hill, and Coach Damarcus Miller. Less than a minute. You got to make it quick. Closing comments, Willa. 10 seconds or less.
Another great show, you know, and it's great being amongst the great guys that we have here on the panel, and appreciate it.
Yeah.
All righty. Well, I think we're going to run out of time, but hey, make sure you join us next Saturday at 11 a.m. for another edition of the Carlos Brown Show right here on the Black College Sports Network. As always, peace and God bless. Boy, that man with that chant. Look at him. Yeah. Charles.
Great show, sir.
All right. I got out of there quick. I said, no closing comments.
I appreciate it. You know, I love
sir.
y'all black men, but ain't nothing short with y'all.
Uh-oh. All right. All right. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.